I think that most successful people will tell you that they were a little crazy to believe in themselves, right? Because it's very, very, the amount of times that I've heard, you can't do this. नहीं कैसे करेगी, like लड़की है. How many times have we heard that in our lives, right? As young girls, we've heard no many more times than we've heard yes. Sit properly, do this, don't talk too loudly, don't laugh too loudly, don't do this. Oh, how long? Okay, she was young, she was playing. Abhi kya? She's gonna go out and play in shorts with the boys. Like, this is a boys thing to do. Abhi seriously, usko padhai mein dalo. This is all my parents heard. But they shielded me so well from it that I only understood and heard it much later in my life when it didn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, and you had your own conscience.
Yeah, and I had my own belief as well, right? But but my parents, and I think that's what every parent has to do, is to protect their child from all that negative that goes around us when we're trying to do things that are outside of the box.
Yeah.
And we're talking about over 30 years ago. I mean, but a lot has changed today.
A different era of the media, a different era of life, of
everything,
of equality, to be really honest.
Yeah, I mean, do we live in an equal world today? No, the answer is no. Do we live in a better world than it was 31 years ago? 100% yes. Do we have some ways to go? Yeah, we do. But we are improving, and we're trying to have conversations like this to try to bring awareness to it. And I don't think even those existed at that time. There was this one time that we were at a event. It was me, Nikhat Zareen, and I think it was Saina, and then there was Joshna Chinnappa. So all these girls from different sports who've been number one in their sports, we're all saying the same thing, that these are the things that were said to us growing up. And we all come from different cultures, different cities, different backgrounds, different religions, different faiths, everything, different social statuses. And it didn't matter. The questions were the same. The doubts were the same. And that's where when we meet each other, it's like such a connect, because straight away we know, I'm like, we literally feel the other person's been through exactly what you've been through.
But you had I know you spoke up about this at the age of 19, when there were a lot of comments passed on your outfits. I think media has been commenting on your outfit choices and clothing choices for a long time now. But you had the courage to be able to respond to that.
So, I mean, my parents taught me and continue to teach me in many ways, by example as well, that if you are being true to yourself and you're being truthful to your cause, whatever that may be, and you're not hurting other people in the process, then you should speak up and you should speak the truth, your truth. That might not be liked very much by some people, but that's okay. And I think that I also came at a time when social media and media, like electronic media, was really on this up.
Yes, more traditional media.
Yeah. And when I was coming up, it was more like newspapers and stuff, which was regular reporting, and that's when this boom of like social media and electronic. So it got boring for them also to write about forehands and backhands and serves. Like, how much are they going to write about that? So then they wanted to write about who I was going for dinner with and who I entered a party with, or why did I go and have a party, and what did I eat? And also, out of all the girls that are there today, in terms of whether it's a Sindhu or a Saina, they were a bit younger than me. So I was that first person who had to face the brunt of all of it. It's like the first child syndrome, that happens in a family.
I mean, you're India's first female tennis superstar. Right?
Yeah, and it came with its price. Being a star and being and everybody saw obviously the glitz and the glamour and the really cool parts about it. That all of a sudden you're on billboards and you're on ads and you're doing all of this. But it also came with a heavy price, because people actually didn't know how to sort of be, because they were not used to it. They were only used to male superstars when it came to sport. They weren't used to female. Today, we've got like 30 years ago or 20 years ago, we couldn't name anybody outside of PT Usha. Who could you name? Another woman athlete that you could really name and be like, she's a superstar? There was nobody. And then there was me. And then after that, like today, a lot of our medals come from female athletes, at Olympics. Our world champions are females. You have, you can name at least 10 or 15 girls that you're like, you know what? These people are on billboards, they're doing ads because of the fact that we've evolved, into more of an accepting nation of women athletes, because it used to be different before, and that's a fact.
And I do feel it's also because can be followed, right? There is a path that's carved out that can be, of course, there's, if not as much as more hard work that needs to be put in, but you've still painted a visual, which I think it's so important to be able to, to see that dream. First you see that dream and then you live it. And I think in your case, like you're saying, I think it was maybe your parents who were, who saw that dream because there was someone who envisioned it. And
Yeah, I mean, my mom was my dad was a builder. He wanted to be a cricketer, lost his parents very early in his life, and suddenly had to become a grown up at 21 years old. So he couldn't fulfill his dream, and they decided that whether a boy or a girl, if they had a child, they would want the child to play a sport. My mom was predominantly a homemaker. I mean, she ran a small printing press and stuff, but she was a homemaker. And my mom was the one who pushed that dream. So it's so important to understand that, in our part of the world, they almost don't give respect to homemakers, saying that "Arey, ye to kuch nahi karte, she's just at home with the kids." But a homemaker saw this dream of becoming number one in the world. So there is no bounds to the dreams that you can see.